Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do an update video on moving across the country. So I made a video a few years back. It was more like close to when I had moved out to California, but I thought that it would be cool to do an update now that I've actually been grounded here and can reflect back and maybe have more advice or just like a full perspective on how this has been. So I've been living in California, I think going on 6 years, and it was definitely a huge adjustment. I'm from Connecticut. It is very different, East Coast vibes and West Coast vibes and personalities and culture and the way people live their life and the environment around you. Like it's nice almost year round. Like there's no winter, which is actually a negative for me because, side note, winter is my favorite season and I love the snow, but the environment is different nonetheless. And I think that it's important to give an update on like what has this really been like for me. Obviously it'll be different for different people, but this is kind of a general overview. So as I said, I've been here I think going on 6 years, and when I think back on this whole experience, the first thing that comes to mind is if you're gonna move, you need to accept that things are gonna be difficult at times, right? Like sometimes we get blindsided because we think of a move as like, oh my God, this is gonna be so great and it's so exciting and I get to be independent and free and move away from home. And if you're going to somewhere like LA or New York or like these cities that everybody talks about, you're like, oh my God, I get to live this glamorous life and all of these things. And the truth is, there are some nice glamorous things about it, but you're still living life and life brings difficulties and it's not what it looks like in the movies. And so if you're going to make the move, don't think it's only positive. I think the positive outweighs the negative. That's why I'm still here, but you have to be realistic about what this is going to look like. So things that I struggled with was I moved away from my friends at home that I had literally known. Like I knew my best friend Vanessa since I was like 6 or 7 years old. I made friends here, but they don't know me in the way that she knows me. And so one of the biggest struggles was just really trying to create friendships and have them mean something. Because it's easy to meet somebody, but it's not as easy to create a deep, lasting relationship. And if you're going to move across the country and you're doing it on your own and you don't have a lot of friends or your friend's not moving with you or whatever the case may be, it's very hard to create those, and you have to go into it knowing that you're not going to get there and have a whole bunch of friends. You're not just going to go to Starbucks and meet your group of people and have them forever. I mean, maybe it happens for some people, but for the most part, it's time consuming to create friends and like really make them your friends. Also, things that come to mind is you're going to miss out on things at home. You're having new experiences, maybe it's worth missing out on, but there were definitely times where I would feel like I just wish I was home for my grandmother's birthday, or I wish that I was home for the 4th of July. Like things that I could care less about before. I was never big on celebrating the 4th of July, but now all of a sudden, because I don't have that option to celebrate the 4th of July, I now miss it. And so you're gonna miss things that you didn't think you were gonna miss, or things are gonna feel foreign that maybe you didn't think felt foreign. For example, I love Italian food, and no disrespect, but LA is not the place for pizza, okay? It's not your thing. You have a lot of great things, but that's not one of them. And so it's hard because everything is different. The people are different, the food's different, but I gained things as well. Like I absolutely love ramen and Japanese, and there's not a lot of that where I come from. So I got exposed to new things, which are great, and that's the positive part of it. But again, you don't want to forget the things that you're going to miss out on, things that you're not even going to think about. So, you know, accept it doesn't look like the movies. It's going to be difficult. It's hard to make real lasting friends. You're going to meet people, but you really have to invest in people if you want it to be worthwhile. There's going to be cultural differences. I'm just talking about moving across the country, but in the same country, obviously, if you're moving outside of the country, like there's even more cultural norms that are going to change and be different. And you have to be accepting of all of that. You have to go into it with this mindset of like, I want to do this because I want to explore. I want to be different. I want to be happy. I want all of these things. And the more that you're open to it, the better it will be. Because in the beginning, I would fight against it. I'd be like, I don't need to make great friends here. I could just call or FaceTime my best friend, or if something goes wrong, I'm just going to call or FaceTime Vanessa. But I'm thankful we have things like FaceTime, but it's not the same. And so I was very resistant, and that definitely made it harder for me to create roots. I know for me, I held on to a little bit of guilt because I was choosing to leave my friends and family. So there was guilt of like, I don't want to create other really good friends because then it makes me feel like I'm leaving those people behind. That's not the case. Those people are still in my life and I love them in Connecticut, but I can also have people in California that I can love too. And we have to accept this idea of it's okay to have both. We don't have to pick and choose. We don't have to hold on to guilt. Again, easier said than done because trust me, I held on to it and I didn't want anybody to feel like I forgot about them or I left them, I let them down, and now I'm just replacing them. They're never going to be replaced. There's nobody that's ever going to replace my best friend, Vanessa. We've been through so much together. Nobody will replace her. But I could still have good friendships here, and we need to be able to accept that. Then there's like random things that come up, right? Like when I lived in Connecticut, I had a lot of friends and family. If my car broke down, I could call somebody and be like, my battery died and somebody's gonna come get me. Well, guess what? It doesn't work the same when you don't have all those people around you. My point is like the things that you don't think about, they come up in other ways. So like I wouldn't think about needing somebody for a tire, but hey, that happened. And again, we have to just allow those things to happen. Don't look at it like defeated and you don't belong in California or wherever you're going. Just know that these things come up and we have to be accepting of them. Something else I would say, and I can't remember what my original video said or was about, but I do know that I had to do things alone at times, things that I would never do alone in any other situation. So for example, there was a concert that I wanted to go to and I had nobody to go with me. It was years ago. I asked like 2 people that I knew, they had work or things going on, they couldn't go with me. And I'm just going to be honest, I felt like a loser going to this concert by myself, but I really wanted to go. It was a release party for an artist. She was going to be doing a live performance. Like it was right after her album came out and I wanted to be there. It was like this whole event thing that was going on, and if I didn't go because I didn't want to be alone, I would miss out on so many different opportunities and things. And at home, I probably would have felt like a loser because I've always had people around me. So it's like I didn't have to do things by myself. There was always somebody to go to dinner with or lunch or the movies or the bar or just whatever, like big summer trips to the Jersey Shore. Like there were always a lot of people around. And so it was a big adjustment to realize those people aren't around. So when you want to go to that concert, you're either going by yourself or you're not going at all. And because I wanted to make memories here, it's like, hello, I live in LA. Like, I want to make a bunch of memories. That's why I'm here, because there's a lot of opportunities. So I had to learn to do things on my own. And it ended up turning out fine. I actually met somebody there that was also there by themselves, and we hung out, and then we met other people, and it was a good time. But you have to be open to those opportunities and open to feeling like a loser, open to feeling uncomfortable. That's the only way that you're going to grow. So if you have an opportunity, like go for it as long as it's safe. I'm not saying like I don't think that you should be going out and like drinking by yourself and wandering around areas that you don't know by yourself. I'm not saying that. But if it's a safe opportunity, make yourself available for it and go and have fun, because not everybody gets an opportunity to explore new places and new cultures and new environments and like new norms and all of these things. So if you're in the position that you can, take advantage of it. The last thing I'm going to say is, because it's not always easy, of course, I have had feelings of moving home to Connecticut. I was actually going to move home to Connecticut in September with my ex, but we broke up and I decided not to, because I found that I have changed since I've moved there and the people that live there have changed, and I've been gone for 6 years. So if I just turn around and move back, I absolutely can. Those people still love me, but it won't look like how it looked like 6 years ago. Like I've changed as a person, they've changed as a person, and I see how much me leaving home has like stretched my mind and broadened my perspective and all of these things, and I want to keep doing that. So I chose not to go home. I want to continue exploring. I don't know if I'll be in California forever. Maybe I'll be in a different state. Like I joke around about moving to Nashville. I joke around about moving to Pittsburgh. Like I don't know where I'm going to be, but I know that I want to continue to grow, because I'll tell you this. As much as there has been times where I have hated living in California, I've hated being away from family, I feel like I would not be the person that I am if I had not moved away and learned how to rely on myself, do things on my own, see different perspectives. Like I have grown so much from this experience that even though it sucked at times, I know that it was worth it. And everybody's experience is different. I'm not saying that you should stay wherever you are if you're considering moving back home, or I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do. I'm only commenting on what I've experienced. And even like the worst of times in California have made me a stronger person. And I feel like I wouldn't have had these opportunities if I had stayed home. So, with that being said, if you have the opportunity and you feel like you could do it and it's safe, I say go for it. If you have any questions, please comment them below, or if you want to reach out to me, feel free to reach out to me. If you are watching and you've just recently moved, like, please share your perspective and things, because I want us to all learn from each other. I want this to be a community because life is hard, and there's always somebody else out there that's going through something similar. So if we can encourage each other, that would be awesome. But my words of encouragement are, if you are deciding to move away, you are strong. Remember that you're strong. You'll pick yourself back up. You'll learn to be resilient. You just have to allow yourself the opportunity to challenge yourself. And every time you challenge yourself, it brings anxiety and maybe feeling overwhelmed, but it is worth it. So continue to do the things that you want to do and explore. And I'm going to stop ranting. I appreciate you watching this video. I hope that it was helpful to whoever it needs to be helpful to, and I'll see you in my next video. That's it. Thank you.